Welcome back to the Boundaries and Brotherhood Vodcast, they call it nowadays. I'm your host, Gordon Wad, with my co-host.
Fairclough, guys, it's good to be here.
Some of the topics today is going to be really detrimental, and I wanted to say I'm so glad you're here with us. I see we get a lot of traction. But today's topic, to keep it short, is how to stop seeking validation and building inner confidence. And I know this is one of Doc's houses because he's seeing a lot of this. Doc, what's the illusion of external validation?
Ultimately, it's you trying to seek other people to tell you that you're enough. That's essentially what it is. You're looking to other people somewhere to tell you that you're actually enough. And we always have these metrics we're trying to reach. If I make enough money, or if I'm good enough, or if I perform enough, then I'll be accepted. Then I'll be good enough. But the thing is, it's an illusion. You're reaching for it. It's the mirage in the desert. No, you're reaching for that. You do it. You put all the effort in, and you get nothing back, right? You arrive, and maybe you feel good for a little bit, but then it's the next thing, or you put all your effort in, and then what happens is someone says, yeah, that's not good enough. And you'll see that your relationships will struggle with that. You'll see that your money will struggle with that. You'll see every area of your life is going to struggle with that because you're seeking for something that, crazy part is, you already have.
Ah,
You're
yeah.
looking for something you already have out there in the world via outside validation. And that's the crazy part about it, is you actually already have it. So that's the illusion. That's the part that gets us every single time. And it kills our confidence, destroys our confidence. Because it makes
Like,
it
give me
feel like,
some. Let me interrupt you for a minute right there,
yeah.
because there's something that jumped out to me that you said. Like, how does it affect the confidence in the men you're seeing now with the groups you're working with? It's huge. Because with everything else going on, the social media, the amplifying the need, what are you seeing? Then how can you help that? How are you suggesting?
I think the issue with confidence is that because you're seeking for outside validation for something that's already there, all of your efforts, because remember, confidence is just doing this thing that you said you're going to do.
Right.
But if the thing you do that you said you're going to do, you do it, and you don't get the result on the other side of being enough, then it destroys your confidence. Because then what it makes you feel is that no matter what I do, it's not going to be enough. And so
Mm,
that's why you see a lot of guys giving up on their marriages and relationships. And it's unfortunate. I've seen guys get divorced because they really think they're seeking this validation outside. And they like, I've done everything I could. And that's a whole nother video for another time, because more often people say they've done everything they could. They really haven't done everything they could. Then you start asking them what they did, and they might name like a couple of things. And then there's like a whole, but in any case, that's a video for another time.
yeah.
Long story short, I don't want to go too far off the mark. You asked about confidence. The issue is you're doing the things you said you're going to do, but it's not giving you the result, because the result you're looking for is something you can't get by the actions that you're taking as far as being enough. And that's why the external validation, that's why you seeking after it kills your confidence so much. And here's the crazy part, Gordon. Even if you do get the accolades, you do get the praise and the raw and all that, now you're on a different mission. You're like, oh, you
Completely.
finally arrived. And now you have this constant pressure to keep doing better and better, because you've been conditioned that I only get the love and the acceptance and the validation if I keep doing better and better. And so still, it will not be enough. So you have the people who try and they don't get the result, and it's not enough. You got the people who overachieve and they get the result, and it's still not enough.
Not enough.
And so now you have people on both sides in this cycle where it's like, no matter what we do, whether you're successful or whether you're not successful, it's never enough. And so it's like, you left, what the heck do you do? Again, that's the illusion. You're seeking for your answers out and about when that's not where they are. They've been with you the whole time.
That's really good, because even like for me, with everything else that I do, is like, you have the power in you. You always had it in you. It's just a matter of how you're going to unlock it and what you're going to do, whether it's through your experiences, your wisdom, the knowledge that you have, because external validation is something, it's almost like a drug sometimes, because that external validation, looking to build up that self-esteem, build up to create that decision. Hey, should I do this? Should I not do this? Is that the right decision? You're looking for all that external validation when in actuality, you already know the answer for it. It's just a matter you have to just hit it, make it, learn from the mistake, take the accountability for it, and just move on. How does that affect relationships or professionals in relationships that don't have the confidence to deal with what's going on at home?
So how does it affect relationships seeking validation? Remember, so people that it affects the confidence because no matter what you do, it's not enough.
True.
So that's where it really comes into play, right? You look at your efforts and your efforts, you watch the videos, you read the books, you do the worksheets, you go to the programs, you go to the seminars, you do all this stuff, and you go back and you try it, and it didn't work. My boss still isn't happy, or I did a great job, but I barely got any type of recognition, or I did all this work for my relationship, my marriage, and my wife still is not happy. We're still not getting along, or we're still not being intimate, and so it's like a stab in the heart. And I know I've been there before as well, where you put all this work in. I think we've all been there. Where you put all this work into something just for it to just fall flat. It's okay. We're no better off. And so as far as like your performance in these different areas, it can truly kill your performance. It can truly kill your performance, especially if you're not on the overachieving end. Because again, you have the people who are overachievers, right? Now, granted, no, it does not solve the problem of you feeling like you're enough, but the overachievers at least are able to get a little accolade. They get some little
Something.
like a better words. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, but it's almost like you get a little treat. Like, oh, you did good. Here's a little treat. You graduated. Here's your bonus. Here's a little money. Here's your this. Here's your that. You feel good in the moment. Yeah, I did it.
Temporary.
It wears off in moments. Right. Maybe, even with your relationship, oh man, we had a great week. There was no arguing, or we had a great week. There was so much intimacy and everything like that. You got your treat, but then it falls off, because then the thing with the high performers is that you cannot continue to operate at that level forever. You cannot.
True.
It's not possible. So eventually, at some point in time, you're going to crash and burn and just give up. And you know what? It's not worth it. I don't even want this anymore. I guess I'll just never be enough. And so as far as like how it affects your confidence, it just kills it, because you look at your efforts and you really are put effort forth, and it doesn't do anything for you. You're right. You still don't have the validation. And let's be clear. What validation means is that someone sees you, you have worth, you have value. And so that's a lot of times what we're seeking. Ultimately, we're seeking to be accepted. We're seeking to be loved. We're seeking
ultimately,
to be accepted. That's ultimately what it is.
Yeah.
And so the problem is we're trying to earn it, and you can't earn that. That's the illusion. That's the irony of it.
You're just
trying to earn something you cannot. You literally, physically, theologically, psychologically, you cannot earn love and acceptance. You can't earn it. That has to be given to you. And the only way to get it is by you actually just being yourself, which a lot of times we run from, because we've been taught that being yourself is bad. You need to be like what the world says. And then again, it sends us on this rat race. And I don't know if we have time today to talk about how we
just
get
did a
to that
video
point.
on that one too.
Yeah.
I just did a face this video on the exact same thing. Your self-worth is not attached to what external validation is giving you. I just did one about finding self-worth, validation, and love by giving it. Because if you don't give it, you can't accept it. It seems like anything else with confidence. If you're a confident individual yourself, like Doc was saying, and you're a high achiever, and you're running on 100,000 miles an hour, like Doc said, you will crash and burn, because you're not accepting the validation, because you're not even accepting yourself as being authentic as it is. And that's what I tell most of my people, most of the people that we come in contact with. It's just a lot of things. Like, once you stop seeking that validation, the likes, the views, or the praise, right? You can look into your inner self, and you're going to find out that it's been within you all the time, right? And once you realize that, you're going to stop caring what other people think. You're going to be your true, authentic self. You might not be able to set the boundaries because it's all new, but that's what we have, me and Doc, with our group and our community. Now, let me ask you this. What's the cycle of validation that you see? What happens starting, like, where does it start? How does it end? How can we curb it? How can we fix it?
So the cycle is, we'll talk about the genesis real quick. Before we get into the cycle, we'll talk about the genesis of it. Happens when
Okay.
we're younger, right? So let me just put this out there. Like when you're born, you're already enough, right? You don't have to do anything. You already have intrinsic value, like automatically. And whether you're the faith or not, like, I'm of the faith, right? I believe in God,
Absolutely.
Jesus
So am
Christ,
I. Yep.
right? And he said that when you were made, that was it. You're good. You're very good. Perfect. You're good. Like you're exactly who you're supposed to be the moment you're conceived. Right. There's no need for an addition. There's no need for a DLC or an add-on or a bonus. Like there's no need for anything else. You were born with everything you
You
needed
need. I
from
agree.
the get-go. And you think about babies, and when babies are born, babies don't have to do anything to get love. They don't have to get anything to be desired. Like babies just exist and they get all that love, and that's the way it's supposed to be. What
Right.
ends up happening is we stop getting that attention. We as adults, as parents, we start withdrawing the attention, whether it's intentional or not. We start withdrawing it, and now the only way that baby can get attention is by doing something. Oh, look, he rolled over. Oh, look, he's crawling. Oh, look, he stood up. Oh, look, now he's walking. Oh, look, now he's talking. And so now we have trained that baby that the only way for me to have value and worth and get attention is if I do something, if I perform. This continues on and on through a school. Oh, now I don't get now talking's not enough. Walking's not enough. I'm on this journey now to be enough. And so that's where it all starts. That's what starts the cycle. So now you have it implanted in your brain by the time you're 7 or 10, right? It's implanted in your brain that in order for me to get attention, in order for me to get love, in order for me to be desired or wanted, I have to be enough. I have to do the next thing. And so now we go on this journey. We try to be the best in sports, music, and in school, and with friends and relationships, and hope. We try to be the best, right? And then in a dysfunctional way, it works for a while, right? It works,
For a little while.
right? And for a little while, right? And so what happens is now that it works, now we're trained in our brain and our nervous system to say, this is the plan. This is what we have to do. And so now rinse and repeat. Okay, it fell off. I don't feel good. I don't feel like I'm validated. Nobody wants me. Nobody cares about me. I just have to do more. And if I do more, then people will care about me and love me and desire me. And so then we go and do more. We get a little good feeling. And then we rinse and repeat. And we rinse and repeat. But what ends up happening is either the stakes get higher or what you're able to do is not enough. And then you keep running and doing the same thing over and over again. Then you keep getting that same feeling. And so you don't get that validation anymore. In one cycle, right? Because again, we have the higher achievers, and we'll talk about them in a second. But eventually, the ones who are not higher achievers, what ends up happening is your efforts don't become good enough. And so now you believe I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of love.
Yeah.
I'm not worthy to be desired. Nobody cares about me. Nobody loves me. So now you go down the rabbit hole of drugs, alcohol, taking your own life. Accept like you just, yeah, you fall apart, right? And so on the other side, of course, overachievers, because they're high achieving, and we all love winners, right? Especially here in America, we love winners, right? Those are the people who get the love and acceptance. And so you have to keep what's the next best thing. And the next
Pressures.
thing, the next thing, and that pressure and the anxiety and the stress and all that stuff comes weighing down on you. And then again, you fall apart. So to break these cycles, because you break both cycles the same way, you have to stop first and foremost. Stop and recognize I don't need outside validation. I'm going to say this again. You don't need it from your wife. You don't need it from your kids. You don't need it from your boss. You don't need it from your parents. You don't need it from your pastor. You don't need it from your coach. You do not need outside validation because everybody I just named is a person just like me and you. And the whole idea of validation is someone has to be better than you to put the stamp, because that's what validation is. If I'm validating something, someone greater what that has to say, yeah, this is good. I'm going to stamp that. You look at any type of certification program, that's exactly what it is. Someone that was greater than you had more knowledge and experience. You did their program, you did their whatever, and they said, you're valid now. You're good now, right? And so you think about people on the planet. There is no one on this planet. Everyone makes mistakes. Everybody falls. Your wife makes mistakes. Your kids make mistakes. Your boss makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. All of your pastor, all of them. Everybody makes mistakes. So who has the power to tell you whether you're worthy of love or not? Nobody, except God. And God said, you're already worthy, right?
As soon as you were born.
You learned it from the moment you were born.
Yeah.
And so now all you got to do is just accept that as the infallible truth, and then just make sure you love yourself. Like, I love myself. This
Huge.
ties back to the boundaries, right?
Yep.
I love myself enough to not allow myself to be treated any kind of way. Let me also give you this forewarning right now. When you start loving yourself and start taking down that and validation yourself, you are 100% going to piss people off, and you're going to lose friends, you're going to lose families, you're going to lose people. I guarantee you. So if you're scared of losing people, let me just help you right now. You are going to lose people, but it's okay. You don't want those people in your life. Because now, guess what? Like Gordon, like you were saying before, you get a chance to be authentic. You get a chance to be your full self. The same person you were when you were a kid, the same person you get to be now. The same person who was fun-loving and had joy and had a zest for life and all these things like that. You get to be that again. And some people may not like that. And again, that's okay. That's what the boundaries. The boundaries, again, boundaries don't force people to be in a relationship with you. Boundaries set the standard. If you're going to be in a relationship with me, this is the expectation. I'm taking the mask off. I'm not going to be like what the world says. I'm not going to be the stereotypical male. I'm not going to be the alpha male. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to be the full range of who I'm designed to be, right? And so people are going to leave you for that. People are going to ridicule for that. People aren't going to want to be around you. People are going to be like, you changed. You're so different. Your wife might say that. Oh, you're so different now. Yeah, I am.
That's the best compliment you can get.
Oh my gosh.
That's the best compliment you can get.
Yes.
But it comes down to a certain things, right? Society's expectations, the approval for a piece of paper from somebody, like you said, because if somebody had more knowledge, he might not even be smarter than you. Yeah. You're just looking for that approval because that's what you've been trained to do. You want to get that A+ on your grade paper when actuality, you might have a different type of IQ. You might also have attention, seeking for attention in the wrong places because you might be a high achiever that you want to be this person above everybody else, but you're not happy with yourself. That Doc says you can command your authenticity with what you got going on by being the person you truly are. It's like I'll give you a story. I just went to a wedding. We went to a wedding this past weekend. One of my best friends, his daughter married the son of one of the Booyah tribe guys. So we seen all of us together, all our Samoans, this and that, all that we've been together, been doing crap together. And we were so happy just to see each other because we all got to be ourselves at this wedding. Two families together, but nobody messes with them and nobody messed with us in Hawaii. But we was like, so happy like we all made it to this point because a lot of the people don't do it. So now when you look at the attention that you're trying to get, right? When you're feeling insecure, when you have anxiety, when you have that validation being withheld from you, why don't you look into yourself? Because you hold the keys to it all. It's just a matter of what are you willing to give up? Because you might have somebody chirping in your ear, right? Why are you doing this for? Oh, why are you staying with this? Because that's what always happens. So you get influenced. The main reason the doc was saying, if you can hold your own with your true authenticity by having these boundaries, by having this confidence, you will change. And the best compliment you're going to be able to get is you've changed. People will come and go. Seasons will come and go. The people in your life might change. The real ones that see you for who you are, that's when your circle gets smaller. Once that circle gets smaller, that's when you know you're on the right track. Does that make sense, Doc?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's coming from a professional side of what Doc is seeing also.
Yeah, you gotta look inwardly.
Absolutely.
And just love yourself for who you are. And let me also say this. This is not saying that we don't have certain character flaws that need to be changed, but our character flaws aren't who we are. Those are behaviors we learned that we need to unlearn. Some people will be like, I'm just an a-hole and that's just who I am. No, that's not who you are. You just have very terrible communication skills. You have no tact.
No, it's a choice.
You have no empathy. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's not a personality trait. Like, nobody comes out. You don't see a baby coming out and saying to the doctor, you don't see that. Right?
It's sci-fi.
So I always want to throw that in there because some people will be like that. Get authentic. That's not true.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's just, some people look for excuses as to why.
I was just about to say that's an excuse.
And so I don't want anyone to use our information right here. We're telling you as an excuse to not change poor behavior. Like, there are certain things about me that I have to change my relationship that were on me and to make my relationship better with my wife. But that's not the core of who I was. Those poor behaviors, that not being able to communicate, not being able to open up, not having emotional regulation, not being confident, like that stuff, all that was supposed to change.
Oh, wait, let me stop you right there. Why didn't you list them off? So in case if you was to list them off on your hand, Doc, the things that you have, your attributes that you've changed, that you've noticed, because this way we can make you can actually have a checklist of where you need to improve. So I want you to repeat that. What are the things that you said you've changed that made it better with, say, your wife? Or if you're having these problems at home also,
Yeah.
list them off.
My assertiveness, emotional regulation, emotional intelligence, communication skills, and I think one last, and my confidence. Those are probably the 5 things that I had to change. There are probably other things as well, but the 5 things that come to mind that made the biggest impact, those are the 5 things that had to change. And but again, all of those things, none of them were intrinsically who I am.
Correct.
All the dysfunction of these things masked who I was, but it was not who I was. Like I'm still like, now that I fixed all these things and got it all done and got it all together, like the core of who I am is still the same. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I still have the same core beliefs. Like freedom is still big to me. Faith is still big to me. That stuff hasn't changed. A lot of things that I like still big to me. So I say all those also have to say, when you do the work, you get a chance. It's easier to start seeing who you actually are. You clear. It's like cleaning your room, right? Sometimes you don't even know how great and awesome and beautiful and comfortable your room can be if it's a complete disaster, right? The room is still the room. The bed is still the bed. The dresser is still the dresser. All that stuff is still there, but you can't truly enjoy it and truly appreciate it with all the junk in the way. And so by doing the work and moving everything out, you now get a chance to appreciate your room or appreciate being your authentic self.
That's so key, because the key word that you said was appreciate.
Yeah.
You appreciate the space, you appreciate the roof, you appreciate everything that you have, that you got going on, but you have to take a breath to figure out that, man, once it's all clean, it's like feng shui, right?
Yeah.
If everything is now moving around in harmony, shit goes sideways.
Yeah.
Can I ask you this? Out of those 5, give me a story, where how you were before, and what that topic was, and how it changed you. How do you change it? In case some of the viewers later on, that, guys, if you're watching this on the replay, reach us to leave a comment on, yeah, that related to me. You mean, because you listed 5 and
Yeah.
how it built you up, because you weren't always this way. So how did that change? What was the situation? What was the scenario?
Okay. So I'm trying to think of which one do I want to hop with.
Take
Oh,
2.
let's go with assertiveness.
Okay.
Growing up, I grew up in a Jamaican household. There wasn't really a lot of room for emotional. There wasn't a lot of room for speaking up, sharing your mind. You
Okay.
did what you were told, and that was it. Like that's all there was to it.
The old
So
mentality.
yeah.
Okay.
So I carried that into my marriage, and I was not open. This is about assertiveness, right? So I was not open, right? Because I was not trained to be open, trained to be shut down. And the part of society had a part to play in that as well, generally speaking. So we would have conversations, in my marriage where it would, I just wouldn't open up, right? Because I wasn't trained to open up. I didn't know how to open up. Now, again, make it very clear, that's not me. That's something
Correct.
I was trained to do. That intrinsically,
That
that's
was, you
not
brought up
me.
that
Yeah.
culture, family,
Yes.
surroundings. Okay, now I get
Yes.
it.
And so that caused a lot of issues with obviously communication, right? Because if one person's shut down, the other person's trying so hard to communicate or try to get understanding, but you won't open up, you won't say 2 words. Now, you won't say 2 words about what they're saying. You won't say 2 words about what you're thinking and feeling, because you be trained that your job is to, when someone's talking, you just stay quiet, let them do what they're going to do, and then that's it. Obviously, that caused a lot of issues. I had to unlearn that, to learn to be assertive and be open up and share what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. And of
Mm,
course, there was listening as well, but I'm speaking from my standpoint, because here's the thing: my wife can't know me, would not know me if I didn't open up and share my thoughts and feelings and explain where I was coming from. So, learning how to do that, learning how to be assertive, learning how to stand up for what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, that was a big game changer for me, because it allowed actually conversations to even happen. So now we're actually able to engage in conversation and then start working towards resolution. But before, there was no resolution. Problems stacked up. And the crazy part is, again, going back to the validation, all these issues stacking up, I'm still doing stuff on the other side to be validated and be seen and be heard and be loved and be accepted. And so now imagine your frustration there. You're doing all these
yeah.
things. But because of all the issues that are there that have been accumulated by yourself, it's blocking her from seeing anything. So, unfortunately, it's this. That's why we have to stop and take a step back and be like, okay, hold on. I need to stop. For one, I need to stop seeking validation from outside of myself. And for two, I need to start identifying the things that need to change, right? Yeah, I love myself and I'm good, but God knows I'm not perfect. So when we start doing that work and that insight, and that's what Brotherhood and Boundaries is all about, or I'm sorry, Boundaries and Brotherhood is all about. It's about stop. It's about, okay, hold on. Where am I at right now? What do I need to change in order to get to where I need to go? How can I start changing so I can start improving my confidence? Because that's another thing where I listed 5 things, but they weren't 5 individual things that didn't play a part in each other.
Oh, no, yeah, gotcha.
They all work together in tandem. And so, yeah, I was working on one thing at a time, but as I worked on one thing, they start playing on each other, right?
Yeah.
So now that I'm being assertive, now I'm going to temper that a little bit. Okay, now I got to learn how to communicate the right way. And then, okay, now I got, in order to communicate the right way, I got to learn how to manage my emotion. Or now I got to track and account. So now they start building and steamrolling on each other. And so I'm making faster and more progress as time goes on. But again, none of that stuff matters if you're still seeking validation.
Huge.
It's not going to matter at all. Because again, your ultimate goal is to be loved. And so you're going to keep going the world's way, saying that you got to earn that. And if that's, again, going back, that's the illusion. You cannot earn love. You cannot earn acceptance. You can't. You got to love yourself, accept yourself. And again, you set your boundaries, and the people who want to stay in your life will stay. And the people who want to go are free to leave. They
got to go.
There's the door. There's the door.
They got to go. Let me ask you, that was deep. That was a really, because basically those are unhealed traumas. Basically. Is that you corrected yourself, and I applaud you for that, because it's difficulty making that type of connection with yourself, especially if you don't know what really was getting to that point. The result was getting this, but the accountability, the self-admission to it, to have it work for you, especially in your personal life, creates a bad energy for your professional life. You know what I mean? So it's like, I understand that, because when you might be a professional, you might have CEO, maybe running a $5 million company, but you go home and you don't even know how to communicate relatively well by expressing emotions, because you're also so used to being telling people what to do. It doesn't work in your home household. And this is one of the angles that we're trying to get, because you could be a professional that don't have a good home life. Like last week's talk was about you staying at the office working late, and next thing you know, she's over there with Sancho. You know what I mean? So let me ask you this, Doc. If you're feeling trapped in that cycle of those 5, what are some of the steps you could take, or you could tell the viewers, to gain this confidence, to get over the anxiety, to learn how to accept yourself? What are some things they can do now? Because you went on breathwork last week. What are some of the things, some actionable steps?
So I don't think we can tackle all 5, because those are all those are all pretty advanced within themselves. And when I say advanced, I don't mean it just
takes deeper
steps to each one, right?
Yeah, we go deeper.
Like being assertive, then emotional intelligence, then emotion regulation. Like these are all different like pillars in and of themselves that would require a breakdown. But the first thing I would say, an actionable step, is just to stop. Stop.
How do you stop? What do you mean? I don't.
Well, you stop and you accept the truth that what you're seeking, that outside validation, you do not need it, and it will not help you. Because here's the thing, Gordon, there's a lot of people, here's the crazy part, there's a lot of people that do give you outside validation. You don't believe it. Wife might tell you the greatest person on the planet, you don't believe it. Boss might tell you the best employee, you don't believe it. Kids might say you the best father, you don't believe it. So even when you do get it, you still don't believe it. So that's what I'm saying. An actionable step is to stop. Just stop. Stop trying to overwork yourself. Stop trying to be a nice guy. Stop trying to have covert contracts. Stop trying to overwork. Stop giving up. Just stop. Just stop.
I see.
Accept the truth that I'm already enough. I don't have to do it. I'm literally already enough.
True.
And then when that voice comes and says, no, you're not, because Jimmy over there, he got a new car, or John over there, he got the new job, and look how happy that relationship is, and look at all these people. Your life's not like that. You can just say that. No, stop. I don't care about Jimmy, John, Sally, Sue, Peter, Paul. I don't care about none of them. What do they got to do with me? I don't care about them. I care about one person right now, and that's me. That's it. I love myself. And if no one else loves me, that's fine. I love myself. That's it. I'm good on that. Because
Once
there's
you're good
other,
on that, you're good.
and here's the thing, that's the other dirty secret the world doesn't tell us.
Right.
That when you love yourself, when you're confident in yourself, when you're being your authentic self, people actually are attracted to you
I,
more.
that was,
They're
I was
attracted
just
to you
about to
more.
say that.
You don't have to chase people at that point. You don't have to chase your wife down. You don't have to chase your kids down. You don't have to chase anybody down. All that chasing and running and trying to get validation, you don't got to. You don't got to chase love. People will be attracted to you. People are attracted to confidence because here's the thing.
Number one.
And love yourself and give yourself that validation is accept the truth that I am enough. You are giving other people the hope to do the same thing. That's why they see it, they love it, they're attracted to it. And why? Because you're giving them hope, because you're saying, oh, shoot, he can love himself and be himself. And people are trying, oh, man, I could do it too. That you give them that hope. So the most practical step I can tell you to do is to stop. Stop seeking validation outside. Stop trying to wait for people to say all these good things. Stop thinking that your efforts are going to get you. Stop. It's not going to work. Stop. Just accept the truth. I'm enough as I am. And if you want, like, in addition to that's the affirmation you tell yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. Look yourself in the eye. And you say, I'm enough as I am. I'm enough as, and just say it over and say it with passion and say it with conviction. I'm enough as I am. And you can add to it as well. You can make it a whole dialogue. I don't need anyone's approval. I don't need someone to say I'm good enough. I don't need someone to pat my hand and say, good boy. I don't need that. People are just people. They're humans just like me. They're no better than me. So their validation really doesn't mean a whole hill of beans or nothing. They will go in the grave just like I will go in the grave. They put their pants on just like I put my pants on. They literally, we need to stop putting people on these pedestals. My wife, if she says I'm enough, then maybe, no, stop. She's a human. She's flawed like you.
You're a partner with her. You don't have to do that. It's your partner.
Yes.
You shouldn't be accepting. It's good. It's good. I'm sorry to interrupt it, but it's like at the same time, it's like you said, confidence is sexy. Confidence attracts. Confidence, you move with a different type of walk. Confidence lets you open. Self-confidence opens the door for things that you never thought possible once you stop to realize that where it mixes vulnerability and authenticity and acceptance. Once you have those things down, like it's Doc said in the beginning, once you go back to when you was born, you had it all. In the course of life and you doing life, yeah, I get everything else. You looking at, you got swayed. But if you can rein yourself back in, if you can sit in a room and meditate, pray, look in the mirror, talk to yourself, see what it, and execute on those things, the self-compassion you're going to have for yourself and the acceptance is going to raise your confidence level because you're going to be doing what you said you're going to do. Doc said, this is why boundaries, in fact, I just did a self-faces video about why women are attracted to men with confidence versus the likability. Because you go, oh, the nice guy. You can be the nice guy, but don't have confidence. You get ran over like a doormat. You can have confidence, have your boundaries, have the self-respect, and she will gravitate you so that you don't get simped or ran over also. Because with this, even with our other partner, Carrie, she says, that's not what we want. But for the other women that wants that, because of that masculine, demasculine energy, she says, it will not work. And it comes down to what Doc said. It comes down to accepting and loving yourself wholeheartedly in that sense. You might need some work with it, and that's why we're here. We're here to encourage that out of you. We're here to pull that best out of you so that you can be the self-respect, confident, masculine figure that attracts people to want to do things with you, but not seek self-validation from others. I don't want to have to dig a rubber stamp and put it on your head. You passed. I want you to see it for yourself. Once you cross that threshold, guys, once you cross that threshold of, say, pure self-love, you don't give a crap about nobody else what says. You're going to put your head down. You want to go make $1 million? You don't care what it is. You put your head down. Boom. You done. You gone. Let me ask you this, Doc. How does it work with breaking free from that cycle and cultivating the self-awareness of that, what you talked to earlier, having that emotional fortitude and intelligence? What are some of the promises you can make with yourself when you start setting these accolades within yourself?
What is it? What's say the question one more time?
How is it cultivating your own self-awareness helped you with your emotional intelligence?
All right. So as far as cultivating that your self-awareness,
Yeah.
it's almost like the Matrix. If y'all ever seen the
Oh,
Matrix,
okay.
when he found out, oh shoot, like I've been living in a dream world, it changes everything. It
Completely.
changes how you move, changes how you act, changes how you see things, changes everything. So again, in order to get that, you have to stop. You have to slow down. You have to start thinking about what you're thinking about and having mindfulness. That's probably one of the first steps to really changing, right? The biggest issue we have on this planet is that people don't know they have a problem. That's the issue.
Big.
Right. And for so long, especially as men, you're taught to just push forward your head, put your head down, go.
Yeah.
And if you don't stop,
I
and
like that.
okay, is this even working? It's just, what's going on? And start asking yourself questions. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I talking this way? Why am I stuck in this? What is going on? To stop and ask yourself those questions. If you don't stop to ask yourself those questions. And so all those 5 things that I mentioned before, I had to stop and ask myself question. Why am I telling my wife what she feels when I can't do that? Why am I not opening up? Why am I not using terms of endearment? Why am I not sharing my thoughts and feelings? Like, I had to stop and ask myself questions, because too often we live this reactive life. And it's so crazy because people always want to say, oh, men are just logical, women are emotional. That's garbage. That is complete.
It's just an excuse. It's just a saying.
No, that's not
I don't think
what it is at all.
I think so.
Right? Because if we were really logical, then I wouldn't even have to be saying that. We probably wouldn't even be here right now if we were really logical.
True.
Because you would say, you know what? Hey, this is the way to communicate. I'm not communicating like that. I need to communicate like that. Oh, that. We don't do that. We're very reactive.
Very.
Right? Oh,
Yep.
how dare you talk to me that way?
Yeah.
You better not talk to me. That's what it is. Keep it a stack. We all know what it is. Oh man, she's coming down to me again. Let me shut down. That's not logical. That's all emotional.
It's all
That's
emotional.
all emotional. And I'm not trying to put anybody down, but to solve that, you have to stop and think. Why do I keep shutting down? Why is it every time she raises her voice, I shut down? I have to ask myself that question. Oh, because that's what my dad would do. So I associate authority figure with a loud voice. An authority figure shuts you down. And once I realized, oh, shoot, that makes sense. I understand now. Now I got to start making changes.
Correct.
Oh, she's not an authority figure. She's not here. She's here. So what does that allow me to open up and do? Start being a servant, open up and talking. See, and now I don't shut down anymore. Like it's like that. You have to stop and think though. And far too often we don't stop and we don't think and we're not mindful.
Yeah.
So
Now I
to get
understand.
to that standpoint of emotional intelligence or emotional regulation or better communication or increasing your confidence, you first have to stop and ask the question, what is going on? What is stopping me from moving forward? And be honest with yourself. Don't look for outside excuses.
Not again.
Oh, but it's the tariffs, or it's the government, it's the Republicans, it's the Democrats, it's the whites, it's the blacks, it's the Jews, it's the Muslims, it's the mom, and my dad, and my this, and my that. No, stop.
Just stop.
Because there have been so many people have been in way worse situations and have come out on top.
Yep.
And if you have someone like Viktor Frankl, if you don't know who Viktor Frankl is, Man's Search for Meaning, I need y'all to go look him up and read his book. It's in my top 3. Bible, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, and probably, what's the other one? How to Win Friends and Influence People. Top 3 books right there. In any case. But look that man up. And he talks about how people in concentration camps with no food, no water, extreme conditions, extreme oppression survived.
Yeah.
Simply by how they stopped and
It's
thought
hard
about,
to stop and think.
and then had a different perception, and that just how they thought allowed them to survive. So I say all this to say you gotta stop and you gotta start thinking and processing, being mindful and asking yourself the question. Maybe your wife is onto something. Maybe you always shut down like you're scared or something.
Yeah.
Maybe she's onto something. Maybe your boss is onto something. So if all the going is trying to seek validation from outside people, right? I'm not saying to do that, but stop and ask yourself the question. If they're saying like something's not enough, ask that question. Shoot, what's wrong with that?
Mm,
What's going
true.
on? You
So
know?
true.
Because there can be
True.
some truth to that. So I'll say out to say, Gordon, to kind of wrap this point, is that in order to get to that point, you got to stop and start being mindful and start thinking about what you're thinking about, your thoughts, thinking about your emotions and processing through them. And you could talk it out, talk to yourself out loud. You could journal. You could do it into like a voice recorder or whatever, or your
Mhm.
phones have that now. Pretty simple. You can start doing that. Or if you need to, you can go find somebody. You can link up with us. We can sit
Find
down.
us.
You can come and say, hey, these are some things I was thinking about. I took your advice. I stopped. I was thinking. Couldn't really get anywhere. So I'm coming to you guys. Hey, what's going on? So we can help you because I've seen many guys like this.
Yeah.
And we can get through whatever that thing is, because once you start understanding what it's all about, it all really boils down to the same thing. Most things boil down to the same thing. So we know the pattern, we can see it, we can identify it, and we can get you on the right path so that you are loving yourself, you are more confident, you're improving your relationships, you're improving your presence. We can get to all of that.
Nice. Guys, just to wrap things up, because we can go on this subject for a hell of a long time, but I just wanted to say, guys, if you're watching this on a replay, if you're watching this on a story, if you're watching this on a clip, reach out to us. The promise we were going to give you is you're going to be able to help you, encourage you, stop and think about what you got going on. We have services for that. We have products, we have PDFs, we have guidelines. We want to invite you to just reach out to us on YouTube, or wherever you're seeing this on any of one of those platforms, to figure out how we can get this information to you so we can have a real sit down, a real talk to assess where you're at in life so that you don't go down this dark path. We want to safeguard we want to safeguard your journey so that you can get the presence, you can get the charisma, you can get the confidence at home, you can get the personal traits that we can have you so that you can attract the people you really want to. And it's really not that hard once you think of it, what Doc explained to you, to stop and think. But sometimes you just need somebody in your corner to help you push you in the right direction. Not validation from us, but to actually give you the steps that you're going to encounter. Because this way you can change your path in life. This way you can do all these things. And that's the big promise, is because you might have these problems going on in your life right now. Unconfident, not having a home life, staying out late at work. You might be a professional that don't have no purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
We want to give you that in a form so that you can come work with us and apply the work that we have. Leave us a comment. We have PDFs. I would tell you to hit this link, but it leads into different things. We have a pop-up store. Maybe you might want to support us and have a free PDF. We have things for you for free that we want you to have. Please reach out, because this way, when you're ready to work with us in a workshop, in a setting, in a camaraderie sense, you have done half the work. You know what I mean? Instead of this way, it doesn't have to be that hard for you. Guys, we want you to have the open communication. We want you to have a relationship with your wife, your kids, no matter what stage you're in phase in life. We want you to have self-love so that you can be happy with yourself. But guys, that should be it, because my name is Gordon Watt from Boundaries and Brotherhood. And leave us a comment. Share this with you think that somebody else might need it also. All right, guys. Doc, any final words?
Again, guys, don't seek validation outside yourself. You already got it. You already got it. You're already enough as you are. You were born that way. And there's no way to improve. That's the whole idea of being enough. That there is no improvement that needs to happen. Now we can talk about performance as well, because there is an aspect of this as well where we can obviously get better at our skill sets and things like that, but that doesn't intrinsically speak to us as individuals, as human beings.
Correct.
So don't go into your job and say, Dr. Keith said I'm enough. Yes, I am. I don't gotta do this training. I'm not showing up to football camp. I'm not. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm gonna look at you like, bruh, you missed the mark altogether.
Bruh.
Another aspect of that, because in the world there are certain things where there are metrics, right? To be enough in school, you need a 2.0, you need to see average. To be enough at work, there's certain requirements that have to be made. So we're not talking about those things that can be measured. We're talking about the things that cannot be measured, right?
Yes.
And with the end point, and that's another thing as well, with the end point, because those things have an end point. If you're doing it, you're in sports, you're trying to win a championship. You're at work, you're trying to meet a quota, or you're trying to make a certain quarter goal, whatever, right? If it's in your health, you're trying to make a certain weight, or those have objective things you could actually reach that will tell you that it is enough, right? Like that is the enough that has been set. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the intrinsic part. There's nothing you could do to increase the value of your intrinsic worth. You were enough from the very beginning. So just keep that in mind, gentlemen. And then if you ever get to the point where you feel you're inadequate, or you feel like, you're not good enough, or that you have to do more to earn love, that's another thing as well. The other stuff I was just mentioning is not to earn love. That's to earn status or money or
That's a
position
whole
or
different
expand your business. That's different, right? You can get that. You can see it, touch it, feel it. We're talking about love. You cannot earn love. So stop trying. Just love yourself. Be yourself. And the people who are going to love you will be gravitated towards you. That's just the way God set this thing up. That's just the way it works.
Beautiful.
It's just the way it works. So that's what I'll leave you guys with. You're already enough as you are. That's it. You're already enough as you are. You don't got to do anything else. You're already enough as you are. And let the people who are in your life that don't love you for who you are, let them leave. No, I didn't say kick them out. I said let them leave. They will leave on their own.
They will leave on their own.
And then the people who love you and care about you, want to be there with you, accept that. And then Gordon, you said something earlier about being able to give out love, but you can't give what you don't have.
Correct.
So you need to love yourself first so you can love your wife. You can love your kids. You can love the people in your community. You can love your coworkers. You can love your friends. Like, you need to be able to love yourself first, accept yourself first, so that you can then go and start loving other people. Because that's what's going to happen now. Now you're going to be able to go and accept other people for who they are. You're going to give them permission to be who they are. Your kids, your wife, your friends, your coworkers. You're going to give them permission to, your light's going to give them permission to shine their light. And you see that cascading effect. So again, like Gordon said, we can continue to go on with this. This is something I'm really passionate about. But,
That's why we have Doc.
yeah.
This is why we have Doc. Like, it's, guys, don't you think Doc is the best? Because I can learn from him. I can learn a lot. I can apply what he's got. And I just want the same for you. Doc, and it.
That's it, man. I appreciate it. Yep. This is Dr. Keith Fairclough signing off, guys. Boundaries and Brotherhood. Guys, please come back. If you need anything from us, we got all the resources you need. We can get you on the right path. Just stay tuned. We got more coming your way.
All right. Aloha, guys. Bye.